think what Liam's trying to make the point of is that there's far too many people on IPP sentences, isn't it?
Far too many, and they abolished it because it was inhumane and barbaric. But yet the 9,000 plus sentences that was given still outstand. Do you know what I mean? There's still, I think, like 1,900 prisoners in jail that received the IPP sentence before 2012 when it was banned that still haven't been released over tariff. And it's just a discrepancy. It's something that they've really tried to sweep under the carpet, not bring to knowledge, but the damage has been done now in the prison service. These lads that went in as young boys and young ladies even, and now they're damaged. Their psychological damage has been done. If you've buried your mum, your dad, your nan, your granddad, your loved ones from a cell and not been able to say bye and have that peace, it plays on your mind. Do you know what I mean? And it's made conditioned and programmed to the prison, and they're not able to really be released in a sense because they're institutionalized. That is not their fault. That's the fault of government, essentially, for creating this sentence that was given out wrongly, that hasn't been visited or addressed correctly. And they are the victims. There needs to be some sort of institution created that they can be put together to be programmed again. Do you know what I mean? To be reintroduced to the community.
What needs to happen.
They're victims now, essentially. Do you know what I mean?
They are. I think that what needs to happen is every single person that's on an IPP sentence in this country, it needs to be reviewed. They need to be reviewed, and they need to divulge a little deeper as to why they behave the way they do and whatever. It's because when you lock a man up and you say to him, you're going to be out in 2 years, you just give him, although it's a very small fraction, a bit of hope. But when you lock up a man and say you can be out in 99 years, I wouldn't really speak so passionately about this, and probably didn't know a lot about IPP sentencing until I met one man who was on my landing, who I would probably just say is a normal prisoner and doesn't really shout that loud. And when you've got 80 prisoners on your landing, they can sort of, you miss them, they go under the radar. You don't have time to sort of build a rapport and have engage in deep conversations. But he was on my landing for about 6 months before I spotted him, and the reason I spotted him is because one night he'd self-harmed so badly, took a blade to his head. Now, there's some people that self-harm and have got absolutely no shame in self-harming. Will self-harm to play the system. This person, once he'd self-harmed, was too ashamed to even come out of his cell because he didn't want all these prisoners to think that he was weak. And I remember having to say to the prisoners, well, one of you just go in and give him a love because I can't. And Liam, you've seen how bloody emotional I get when people are hurting. Liam cried on. Do you mind me saying that you got upset, Liam?
No, of course.
Filming. And it was an absolute pleasure to say, hey, Liam, I'm not a real officer, matey. Do you want a hug? But in the real life, being an officer, you can't do that. But that's how I got to know this particular prisoner anyway. And then when I got speaking to him, he was sexually abused when he was a kid, had a horrific childhood. Then when he turned into a teenager, the person that sexually abused him was convicted because he abused his younger sister. He carries a lot of guilt because he feels that if he'd have reported it, his sister wouldn't have been abused. And because of that, he ended up getting, I think it was a minimum 2 year on an IPP sentence. He was in for, at the time, it was 15 years. So that was probably about 3 years ago. I hope he's out, but he used to love writing poems. He just used to love writing poems, and I just used to watch him, and it's just so sad to see somebody locked up like a caged animal when he just doesn't feel like he's got a purpose. So yeah, although IP sentences have been abolished and it's now been replaced with EDS sentencing, which is quite similar to IPP sentencing but not as inhumane, there's still people that's on IPP sentences now scattered across the country that need to be frigging helped. Hence why the con and the screw are here to motherfucking rescue you. So we're just going to keep shouting. That's all we're going to do. Just keep shouting until eventually someone either says, well, someone listen to these fucking pairs so they shut up, or people actually take on board what we're saying and maybe actually think, do you know what, maybe they're right. You know, Liam's
Well,
lived in the
it
prison,
is.
I've worked in one, and we're both sitting here saying it doesn't work. And I think pretty much every member on the cast of Banged Up agreed it didn't work, didn't they, Liam?
Yeah, no, 100%. No, well, it don't work. It's been proven not to work repeatedly. The UK prison system's on its knees. Do you know what I mean? You know that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? From being an officer, from your perspective, on your side, because you've got to put up with the shit, the officers, do you know what I mean? And we've got to put up with the shit, and we've all just been left in this shit. Oh, excuse my French. Do you know what I mean? But I think bringing it back to the IPP prisoners, just to give them just a release date. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hand on heart. So IPP, if you've just joined, there's a sentence that people have been given. This, you've got no release date, basically. You could be held in prison for the rest of your life, even if your expected release date. If you was given a 2-year sentence and you should have been out in 1 year, normally, as any normal prisoner was, if you was given an IPP sentence, 2-year IPP, you could spend up to 99 years in jail and you're on license for the rest of your life. So I think just for every IPP prisoner in the country to have their sentence reviewed and given a release date, a mandatory release date, and the support to get them able to be released. Do you know what I mean? Because I would, hand on heart, rather receive a 30-year prison sentence than a 1 day, even a 1 second, a 1 second IPP. I'd rather get a 30-year sentence and know I'm going to do 15 years behind my door, but I can work towards that day that I know I'm going to be released in 15 years. Whereas a 1 second IPP, there's no end date. There's no end date. Your life is gone the way you ever knew it. Control's been removed from you. Someone only has to make an allegation, not even factual, just an accusation to your probation officer, and you're recalled to jail, and you can spend the rest of your life in prison off the back of an accusation. Imagine being sent back to prison on a life sentence for something that you never even done, that someone just made up about you to be conniving, and then having to have the composure to not react in a way that's going to jeopardize your future furthermore. Because that's where you got to. That's where they've got you when you're on that situation. You've got no leg to stand on. You can't stick up for yourself because it don't go in your favor. You've literally got to lie on your back and just your life's done with. And it needs to be changed. It definitely needs to be changed. And just so the people who are here for the IPPs, the shot that's actually been used on the adverts, Missy, as you'll agree, of me when I'm actually on the roof with my top off going, rah!
Yeah.
I actually shouted, free all IPP prisoners.
And
that's what I shouted on the roof. But obviously, yeah, they just used the scream and the mad, angry face.
Yeah. Everyone that is watching, I think we've got 299 people. Is that how many we know who's watching at the top of the screen? 299?
Yeah.
Honestly, if I could just ask you, 289 people, if you can just share the video, if you can just share this live now, we really do want to just spread the message and get people talking. So me and Liam have both just took part in Banged Up, which is causing a whole stir across the nation at the minute as to whether prison works and what can be done differently. I said I was arrogant once when I first joined the landings, and I had that mindset, and then I met people like him, and I'm not going to talk too much about it, but he was watching and he was like, Mel, it's me, remember? Honestly, it was so emotional to go to bed that night and thinking, oh my God, from all them years ago, you know, he's watching me right now. Shout for him. It was lovely. Yes, Steve.
Yes, Steve.
What a great bond you both have. I know we do have a good bond. We bounce off each other. Sometimes I have to remind myself that I'm a prison officer in a uniform and I need to freaking. These was allowed to behave like animals. We had to have a bit of class, but every time I was with Liam, we was just stupid. He really did make me giggle.
Just vibes, innit?
I can't remember what you made me laugh when someone said, oh, you're that guy off plebs, and you said you're with a load of fucking plebs now, mate. It's your one-liners that just get me.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Okay, the shares have gone up now. Thank you for everyone that is sharing, honestly. It's not for us to sit here and, just waffle on so you can just see our faces. It is to talk about real issues and hopefully educate people, because Neil, if you remember Liam, I'll never forget when I said to him, Neil Parrish was the MP. I said, Neil, what have we got to do to actually change? It's all right, standing here screaming about it, but what do we do? And he said, you change the mindset of the public. So here we are. Honestly, every share really is appreciated. Please get Liam's followers up. He's got a lot to say. He does a lot as well, a lot of charities. He goes into prisons. He's stopping potentially your children from going to prison by doing something about it now. So it really is important that we get it out there. The shares are going up. Honestly, thank you. Thank you. Shall I ask you some questions, Liam, what these people are asking you?
Come on, let's get some questions out.
Okay, then. So who was your favourite celebrity?
Obviously, Sid, wasn't it?
Was it?
Yeah, Ricky! Yeah, Ricky.
Yeah, I like Sid.
I hit it off with Ricky, man. You didn't really get to capture a lot about it, but Ricky had it hard. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. He grew up in a criminal-orientated family, but he decided to join an acting school and used to pay 50 pence a lesson, he did.
Did he?
I think he was 12 when he started. So he was going to this acting school, paying for himself 50p a class. It was called the Poor Boys Acting School, it was, ironically. That might have been the nickname for it. But yeah, he was doing that. Then he got a role as Oliver Twist. And then at 16, he got offered EastEnders. And he said, obviously, his life changed overnight when everyone's seen him on telly. Because back then, there was only 5 channels.
Yeah, and there was no phones like there is now,
Famous overnight, so then suddenly everyone was appearing. So yeah, but all of them was amazing. I shared magical moments with them all, like Tom Roosevelt. Like, that's one of my little brother's idols. Like, when I used to be when I was an addict and my life was mental and chaotic, I remember just like arguing with my brother over having him on the telly, watching all this comedy stuff, plebs and that, and I'd be like, just turn it off, I don't like this crap. But he loved him. So then when I was with him and we was on the hooch, do you know what I mean, having a party, I FaceTimed my little brother, and he had a baby, and Lee, my nephew, was born. Hello, look at me, I'm fucking in Mexico. So he was in a hard place because he was in a premature unit with his baby and he's going through difficult times. And I FaceTimed him and I was like, all right, bro? And he was like, yeah, I'm all right, you? I was like, yeah, hang on a minute. Hold this, bro. And I passed the phone to Tom. Yeah, and my brother just went...
Didn't he know? Didn't he know that he was in there with him at the time then?
No, he knew I was in there with him at the time, I think, but obviously he just wasn't expecting something like that to happen. So yeah, them two had a nice chat there, and I give Tom my crystals. You didn't see none of that, but I give him some crystals to keep him safe, because Tom's mad spiritual, like.
I'm massively spiritual. I used to look at religion and faith and all that. I think you're all balmy, but spirituality really, really has helped me.
I just seen Pro PT. Pro PT just sent me a flower.
Did he?
Hey, yes, Yusuf's here.
Hello, Yusuf. So Yusuf, for everyone, Yusuf was the one that kicked off of me with like, you better open this door, and blah, blah, I'm going out on the yard. And I think I shared a video, the clip of it. I think watching myself back on TV, I was always like, go on now, you hold yourself well. But I remember inside I was rattling, thinking, fuck, please don't freaking come any closer. We was nose to nose, and he's taller than me, big unit. He's freaking angry when he kicks off, let me tell you.
But can we just say though, like Yusuf, I'm so proud of him, because he is such like an influential professional. He's, like you've seen, he's had his struggles and stuff, but he's got his perfume brand now, Yatora London, I believe. It's the biggest perfume brand in the UK, and this is coming from the struggles. And he is so lovely and loving and caring and articulate. But he went on there with a mission, and that was to show the public what it can be like in jail. Yeah. So, Yusuf, my absolute commendments to you, my brother, like, honestly. And he captured it, didn't he, Mel? He really did capture it. And
And
It was real. It was jail. It was as real as it. Do you know what I mean? It got for me when that door banged. I was on banger. Don't get me wrong. When I was in the cell with Sid Owens, he can't ride his banger. He was getting on the bell all the time.
oh no, it was me that answered the bell when he kept pressing it.
Oh,
Telling
it's
him off.
3 minutes past 8. He's like, they're taking the bed. Like,
Oh no.
you're not
Oh
used to
no.
this.
Imagine if we had staff searches on, he'd be banged up for like 2 hours then, really freaking screwing, wouldn't it?
Yeah. He was
But
like,
no, he was
I need
super
my
good,
hay
man.
fever tablets. He was going, I was crying.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
nice to
bless him.
watch back and see your little moments in the cell because obviously I didn't see like Kevin on the first night when he's pulled the plug out of his butt.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. Oh, it's
There's so many
crazy.
things that I just didn't see. But now, going back to people that I know that some of you have had a bit of bad press and been like, oh, Gooch, I've seen all over social media, Gooch is a bully. So for anyone that's watching these
Yeah.
prisoners that wasn't real prisoners that just played the role of a prisoner, it wasn't acting because it wasn't given a script. We wasn't told to do anything. We was just told to get our jail heads back on. So these lads wanted the celebrities to have a taste of what prison can be like. So let me tell you, Yusuf in real life is a beautiful person. He
Really.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he does a lot of stuff for a lot of people, man. He's a good influence, man. Positive change maker. But then also, yeah. So just for the context of this script, now, obviously, dug me out earlier all on me getting upset. No,
Sorry.
no,
Sorry.
but we can build on that here now because obviously the cause and effect of that was obviously going into prison to show the UK what prison can be like. So I went in there with the impression of being a stereotypical prisoner as opposed to being myself. Do you know what I mean? So I did go in there with that, wanting to have that persona. But there was a scene then when we were with Harvey with his gold bracelet, which was shown. And I hadn't seen the last 2 episodes because, like I said, I've been in Manchester, so I'm going to watch them after this live. I caught the end of the last one.
Oh, the
And
last one made me cry. I couldn't go live straight away because I was sobbing.
oh, bless you.
Honestly, it's really emotional to actually watch it.
We got Harvey in the cell. We did, and we're like proper bullying him, sticking it on him, and that, and calling him a snitch and stuff because he gave his gold bracelet to the officer. He said, and we got him to get on the floor and start doing press ups. Yeah,
And did it?
yeah, he did, and he had tears in his eyes, and I don't know.
Oh,
It
you're
just like it hit me, man, and I went back to my cell and I looked in the mirror and I just welled up and I got on my bell and I said to the officers, I was like, I need to get production. I production come and I just couldn't do it. Do you know what I mean? I was like, I can't do this. I can't be a bully. I can't do it. Do you know what I mean? I struggle with it. I was never like it when I was in prison and I just can't be like it now. And they was like, no, that's totally fine, Liam. They was like, just absolutely be yourself. We're just recreating a prison environment here. So
yeah, and not
it
everyone
was
you meet in
literally then
prison
I
was
was just like,
cares.
let's go! Who wants a pasty?
I thought you done brilliant, honestly, from start to finish. I thought that you was true to yourself. I really did.
Thank you, Missy. And you, man, and you. But that's where you connect, innit? Officers
Yeah.
and inmates. We connect, we build that rapport when we're vulnerable. Do you know what I mean?
Have you got anyone in real life when you was on the landings, an officer that you've got in your head that really did help you? But do you think that officers, there are good officers?
There's a lot of good officers. I'd say the majority of officers are good officers. They're good human beings.
Yeah.
They're just victims of the hierarchy. In 2015, the prison system had a big shift happen within it, and save money. They made all experienced prison officers that was on an hourly rate. They made them redundant to hire fresh from university a fresh working force that would work for a salary. Which ultimately all the overtime that now these officers are working is not really accounted for. The bed watch ain't really accounted for. The extra shifts, what they're having to do, they're not being accounted for. But the pay's not being accounted for. Whereas the previous to 2015, you had these 50-year-old prison officers, 60-year-old prison officers that have done their lives on the wing. Do you know what I mean? And they've got the experience to handle a wing and handle a prisoner. But they was removed overnight. And now I swear on my mum's life, I had prison officers asking me to help them bang up prisoners, Mel.
That would never have been me. That would never have been
that.
me.
Jesus Christ. You don't know that.
Absolutely not.
Bending me right up, sending me in there like a pretzel, you would.
I remember having this one prisoner who I had a good rapport with, but he was just a fucker for bang up, and I knew that his DCAT
That
was
was me.
coming. And if I'll give him the IEP, it would fuck his DCAT up. But I also wanted him. It was like a bit of tug of war, and I was like, you really do need to listen when I'm saying fucking bang up. So I said to him if you're late again tomorrow, I said, I'm physically going to drag you to your cell door in front of all the wings. And he was like, no problem, man, I promise you I'll be on time. Well, I was shouting him, and he's got his back to me on the landing. I literally just went up to him from around the waist, picked him up, carried him to the cell, and you can imagine 80 men cheering. Whoa! He wasn't like for lock up again, and I didn't have to give an IEP. So happy days. Right, Liam, I've got to love and leave you because I've got the school run in the morning, but I'll find out how to do a live and add you, and next time you can be my guest.
Yeah, well, listen, before you go, Mel, let's get you one question. Yeah, has anyone got a question for our beautiful miss, the best prison officer that ever graced the planet?
Oh, thank you.
You literally are, man. Seriously. Such a special human, man. Liam, who shitted in the shower? Let's give that one to Missy. Go on, Missy.
Okay, so I mentioned this earlier because someone had put on there, why does the Scotsman not get much TV? Because we had a Scottish prisoner and a Scottish officer. The real answer to that was they must have just not been as loud and boisterous as the others. They were more blend into the background. People that are needed in prisons, officers and staff, but unfortunately, they were quiet. But when we was discussing this, who took the shit in the shower, I wanted people to guess. But when somebody asked that question, that's how I give it away. I said, well, his shit landed on the TV. So it was George. So people call him 5-0.
5-0, go hit him up, everyone. 50.
I remember that happening though, and I genuinely said to one of the other officers, I'm like, that's not real, is it? Surely the producers have done that. And they was like, no, that's a real prisoner took that shit in the shower. I was like, oh my God.
And the funny thing was, it was like a wet, sloppy turd, yeah? And it had 2 prison issue bits of toilet roll, and I was like, 50, bro, come on, you must have shit round all. Oh, man. No. But listen, before you go, who was your favourite apart from Liam?
A person I think about a lot and has inspired me a lot was Abdul Bangura.
Yeah, man.
I love Abdul.
Yeah.
So, for those of you who, Abdul was another one that didn't really get much of the screen time, which is a shame. But you imagine it was a social experiment. I think that if they knew it was going to be such a success, it would have been more episodes. It really would have, and you'd have got to meet the characters a lot more. But Abdul served 3 sentences, so a bit like Liam, prison wasn't helping him. It was, in essence, making him worse. And when he decided to turn his life around, is he a millionaire? I don't know.
I don't want to give up his financial situation, but he
was pretty much giving it up to me. He was. I'm pretty sure he advertises that his company is a part of a billionaire's company. It's really big. I'm not saying money's everything and he's very rich. What I'm saying to you is that he's gone that big. From starting off, he told me, because I asked him how it all started, just selling an aeroplane part. So, from there, and it just sort of grew. And then on top of that, he also single-handedly raises a daughter. It's one thing to single-handedly raise a son, but to raise a queen that's going to be full of emotions and hormones and everything else when she hits teenage years, that man is a champion, and he really does inspire me. So, yeah, I would say that was my second favourite prisoner. Liam's my first. Yeah, my favourite celeb was Neil. Because I just loved how vulnerable he was. I loved that he was vulnerable. And I love the fact that he was saying to be an MP and then go on national TV and say, I've watched porn. I don't know if I'm ballsy, but I don't know if I'd have that pair of bigger balls. So I just loved him for it. And I love that he didn't try and defend himself or argue with it. If anything, he was just like more understanding of we're all human and we all fuck up. You know, some of us get caught, some of us don't. Some fuck up worse than others, but ultimately, none of us are immune from pain. We're all going to feel it at some point in our life, and we're all going to fuck up. So when you see someone fuck up, help them. Don't judge. Don't, even though it's hard. You know, I've been there. It is. It's difficult, but we will see the world better if we step in and help.
Literally.
Like I said, and people that are watching, when that video went viral of me, I wanted the ground to swallow up. I remember putting a pasty in the microwave and thinking, I'm just about to the school run. And then my phone just didn't stop going. And then when I saw it was on 4 million, I really did just think, I wanted to go. I told you, didn't I? I wanted to go back into the service. I really was brokenhearted. I thought, that's it then. That's my career over. Kiss goodbye to the prison service. You're never going to do it again. Even though I hadn't done anything illegal, no one's going to want me in their prison when they've just seen that video.
They might.
Maybe. You don't know.
I mean, like the way the prison service is moving now, it's obviously in privatised prisons. So like Serco are trying to implement the Swedish models now, and do you know what I mean? They are trying to do it the right way, working in their prisons. So credit where credit's due, and I'm sure they would absolutely love to have somebody like you with them, Mel. But the problem is, darling, you're far too big for the prison. You need to be changing the world.
Oh, well, I am going to continue to help offenders on this side of the fence.
I mean, the landings will miss you massively, Mel, but I think you can help them a lot more by staying off the landings and keeping up doing what you're doing now and spreading the awareness, man, because this is where it's to, do you know what I mean? But you will be sorely missed. So I apologise to every prisoner in the country that might have had you as a prison officer. But yeah, you will serve them out here.
Oh, thank you, Liam. Thank you. You're an angel.
Thank you just for everything.
Thank you to everyone that watched and thank you to everyone that shared. Liam, I'll message you.
Speak to you soon, lovely, all right? Take care, Mel. Bye-bye, darling. Bye-bye.